The mercy or the revenge. Details: I am 24 years old and wife is 22. We have been married for 2.5 years and been dating 7 years, been living together for 3 years. I know we are very young. I am a filmmaker and musician, and she is finishing university to be a biologist. I pay the bills and pretty much all the expenses since she is a full-time student. We have no children but talked about starting a family once she finished her studies and could help support our home. We are both in great shape. I exercise regularly and take care of my diet, and she takes good care of herself as well. She is a very good-looking woman, but she has some self-esteem issues which she has recognized herself. From what I've learned from her in our relationship, she always thinks she's ugly and not good enough for me. I've reassured her multiple times that it's not true, and I try to be very caring and loving so she doesn't feel that way. I was raised in a very warm and loving family. My parents have been married for 25 years and still going. They act as if they were still boyfriend and girlfriend that just met, and the spark in their relationship is incredible. They go out on dates and plan trips together. My wife grew up in a different scenario. She was abandoned by her abusive father at the age of 12 and resents him very much. To this day they barely speak. Her mother is a strong woman that managed to raise her and her younger sister with no help. She has had self-esteem issues maybe linked to these problems in her childhood. She has had some fights with her mother and I've been there to comfort her. She claims she was an accident and should not have been born. This is because her mother got pregnant at the age of 17 and it was unplanned. Her childhood might have been rough because of this, and I try to view things from her point of view. In our relationship we used to argue about small things, never nothing deals breaking, but lately fights had been starting to get worse, but in the end, we always managed to talk things out. I'm the kind of person that likes to talk things out and solve issues on the spot, while she rather keeps quiet and never vent or try to talk. During the early years of our relationship I was a very sociable person, was outgoing and had lots of friends and was surrounded by a healthy group of people. As the relationship progressed I began to distance myself from my friends and became socially distant to everybody as if I lost my social skills. Right now, I feel like I have no friends or anyone I can talk to since my whole life seemed to revolve around us. My relationship with her mom and stepfather was nice. They were really close and liked me a lot. She never got too close with my family and it was mostly formal. Yesterday we were at a lunch party with my family, and as soon as we got there, not 5 minutes had passed and she asked for my phone to get on Facebook and message her female friend. When she gave it back, the conversation was on the screen and she was saying, "I'm at my husband's family meeting. I can't wait to leave, it's terrible." I obviously got really upset with her, since we had been there for 5 minutes and she didn't even try. I told her she shouldn't have come if she felt that way and didn't want to be there. I told her we were leaving and I started walking to the car and she followed behind. Without saying a word, we drove home and I dropped her off and I went back to the family dinner. As soon as I got home, she had left. Her stuff was gone. I called and she didn't answer, so I got on Facebook to message her and she had deleted me and sent me a message saying, "You are the worst thing that ever happened to me, and I've never felt so humiliated in my entire life. I never want to see you again." I felt heartbroken when I saw this as I didn't expect anything like it, so I called her mother and she didn't pick up either. She later sent me a text saying not to call and that her mother did not want to talk to me. I later went to her mother's house and she didn't even let me in. She said not to contact her or her daughter. I know I'm young but I'm lost and I don't know what to do. This is out of the blue and I feel like my world is falling apart. I know I will read this in a few years and see how stupid I am being, but it sucks. My family doesn't know yet, as it just hit me and I'm in shock. I had no warning about this and it surprises me how the day before everything was perfect and now she just erased me completely. 7 years gone just like that. I don't know if I should file for divorce or if I should wait and see what happens. I must sound like a heartbroken teenager, but I can't help it. I did not take away the phone and read the message or respond to it. I have never snooped or had trust issues with her. She simply gave it back because she was done, and she forgot to exit the application. I just looked at the screen and it was there. I did not create any drama or scene at the place as I simply told her this in a soft tone and we were in a private setting at the moment. The family meeting consisted of over 20 people and they were all spread out of the house, so no one saw us arguing or leave. When I came back and family noticed she was gone, I told everybody she had a really important matter and she couldn't stay. I see why she might have felt embarrassed. I decided not to stay home with her for 2 reasons. The first being I was upset that she would call my family terrible after being there for only 5 minutes. And the second reason is that I pass a lot of time with her family on trips, dinners, reunions, etc. In the past 7 years I can barely count the amount of time we have been out with my family. Only history of infidelity in our relationship was a small incident of she had during the first year of dating. But that subject is long forgotten as we were young teenagers and she has earned my trust and has shown me she is faithful, never gave me a reason to doubt her. She is a little impulsive and overreacts at times but never this big. She hasn't been distant or weird lately, as I said this is out of the blue, and usually when she dislikes something or she is mad I can tell. I have never walked out on her or our relationship. by the escalation in fights, or fights getting worse. None of these were initiated by me. They were initiated by her complaining about me. To give an example, one of the recent fights was because I had to get some work done in editing. I had to stay awake on the computer for around 40 hours straight. This was a one-time thing. During the whole day she was cold and distant, not speaking to me, and when I kept insisting if something was wrong, she blew up on me, saying I cared more about working than spending time with her, and that I would only work for so long, so that I don't have to talk to her. I tried to calm her and explain that I'm the only one of us working at the moment, and I can't afford to lose work. We spend most of our time together. We go out to dinner at least once a week. We click really great when we are not fighting, and our physical life is great and has never lost its spark during our relationship. I'm the only person she has been with. I have been lurking here for a few years here on TAM so I could always get some insight on subjects about marriage and how to be a better husband. I am aware we both have had this relationship since we were teenagers, and it's very different now to be married and living together. There is no manual or guide on to how to be a good husband or a good partner, so I decide to come on here and read about marriage and learn if I'm doing things right or if our problems are normal for a young couple. I don't know if this matters, but I will mention it anyways. She is a full-time university student in her final year, and at least once every 6 months for the past 3 years, she has had to take field trips with her classmates to different places. These trips are purely institutional, and they go for the sake of studying. These trips are accompanied by professors and tutors, and the trips vary in length. Sometimes can be a single day, 3 days, and others it's for a week. The house is empty and her things are gone. Still haven't heard from her. There is no guide or manual on how to be a good husband, and I wanted to try my best for my own sake and the sake of our relationship. I came here to read about marriage and married life, how to deal with problems and fights, etc., mostly to learn about how marriage is supposed to be, to see if things are on track. We are a young couple, and since we got married at such a young age, so I can get all the help I can on how to make a marriage work. Infidelity has never been an issue apart from the small E around 6 years ago. I guess that right now, with her just walking out on me like that, I'm having second thoughts, and I'm wondering if there is more I just haven't seen. A part of me now feels a little uncomfortable with her field trips, but as I said, she never gave me any reasons to doubt her. I did notice she got kind of nervous and uneasy when she gave the phone back and noticed she hadn't closed the message. I never had a reason to doubt infidelity, but right now I'm starting to think otherwise. I do not have anyone in mind, but perhaps during these field trips something might have happened. I don't mind that she has to go for 3 days or a week, because I know it's for her studies, and I've always trusted that she knows how to behave. The boundaries in the relationship are clear. Maybe I'm being paranoid, or maybe I'm in denial. I'm just having second thoughts. I didn't log her out. Throughout the whole day I forgot about the phone and went back to my family reunion. Once I got home and everything went down, I tried to get on Facebook and message her in her account, and the message was there as it hadn't been logged out. When it refreshed, and before I could even log her out, it was already asking for sign-in information, as if she had logged her account out remotely or had changed her password. More background details. We are both in great shape. I exercise regularly and take care of my diet, and she takes good care of herself as well. She is a very good-looking woman, but she has some self-esteem issues which she has recognized herself. From what I've learned from her in our relationship, she always thinks she's ugly and not good enough for me. I've reassured her multiple times that it's not true, and I try to be very caring and loving so she doesn't feel that way. I was raised in a very warm and loving family. My parents have been married for 25 years and still going. They act as if they were still boyfriend and girlfriend that just met, and the spark in their relationship is incredible. They go out on dates and plan trips together. My wife grew up in a different scenario. She was abandoned by her abusive father at the age of 12 and resents him very much. To this day they barely speak. Her mother is a strong woman that managed to raise her and her younger sister with no help. She has had self-esteem issues, maybe linked to these problems in her childhood. She has had some fights with her mother, and I've been there to comfort her. She claims she was an accident and should not have been born. This is because her mother got pregnant at the age of 17 and it was unplanned. Her childhood might have been rough because of this, and I try to view things from her point of view. I thought I'd add this background info so it might clear things up a little and help gain some perspective. We live outside of the United States, and the country we live in does take consideration of infidelity, drug abuse, and all these matters when filing for the divorce and the arrangements, so I think it would be considered a at-fault state. Right now, we own the home we live in. I'm still making payments. She doesn't have a job as she is a full-time student, but she has a scholarship that covers for her studies. I have a job and I can support us both. When we decided to live together and purchase this home, we had already been together as a couple for 4 years, but we were not married yet. I'm not sure how it works in my country if we acquired this home together but we're not married yet, or what happens with our possessions if we separate. I'm feeling kind of lost at the moment, since my life has revolved around us for so many years. Since we were teenagers, we had planned to move in together and build our home and start a family, and everything I did was work towards this goal. Then suddenly this hits me. I'm a little disappointed and anxious that 7 years together might end like this. I know I will grow past through this and learn a lot. I know I can't let this beat me down and I have to be strong. Maybe the whole situation hasn't really hit me yet and the worst is bound to come, but I'm prepared to keep going and I won't give up because of this. I have closed our joint account and I'm not funding her in any way at the moment. I did not see it as her using me. I saw it more as supporting her since she is a full-time student and I have a job which can pay for our living expenses. In the whole relationship, I did feel like sometimes I was investing more than her. I was doing things for her, to satisfy her or make her life easier, putting her priorities over mine and trying to keep her happy. I know you're not supposed to do things or expect anything in return, but I did feel unappreciated at times. I told this to her and she would get defensive and say how I didn't appreciate her effort and that I should find someone that would make me happy. This happened a couple of times and I stopped trying to tell her how I felt because it always ended with me apologizing and her as the victim. During our arguments 90% of the time I was always trying to fix things and get her to open up to me so we could work our problems out, while she just closed herself up and ignored me. I know if during any of those situations I hadn't insisted so much on working things out, everything would have ended right there. Right now, I think I never held her accountable for her actions, and she never accepted her mistakes. She did communicate to me a few times that I was being a little distant and cold, and she was feeling rejected. This was when I was very stressed and busy working. But as soon as she approached me in this way, I completely agreed that I had been distant without knowing, and I changed the way I was acting. A few weeks later, I asked her if she was still feeling that way, and she said everything was great, and she was glad I was being more affectionate. This happened around 6 months ago. I'm at crossroads right now. I have gotten some advice to try and contact her, while others say not to. Right now, we haven't had any contact. It's hard to keep myself distracted. I'm tempted to call, but I don't want to make any mistakes. If I were to call, I should plan what I am going to say first. The account issue might be a screw-up on my behalf. I did it out of panic and anger, afraid that she might try to withdraw or transfer the money. I have done some research and I found out that once one of the spouses files for divorce, the joint account must be frozen, or the money must be transferred to a frozen account. I'm not sure if the same principle applies if neither of us has still filed for divorce. I haven't assumed my wife is cheating, as I said in other posts. She never gave me any red flags of some sort, or any reason to doubt her. Although a few suspicions have arisen now that I think about it, like her getting dolled up for class, yet it could as well be something innocent. I'm trying to get a grip of the whole situation. Today wasn't as bad as I expected. The amount of support and input I get from all of you posters are incredible. It makes me feel more rational about the whole situation and helps me keep myself together. Maybe I'm painting her to be a real bad person with what I've posted so far. Most of what I post is my point of view and mine only. One thing I would like to clarify is that one of the reasons she is a full-time student and doesn't contribute financially at the moment is because we both agreed that we could live comfortably with my income, and it would be better if she focused on her studies so she could graduate faster being full-time student, and not just a part-time job and part-time student. I had a part in that decision and I thought it was a good idea at the time. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea and she got used to the easy life. This agreement happened around 3 years ago when we moved in together. I have a hard time thinking she would be such an evil person to put up with me for so long just because I was paying for everything. Heck, she is a really good actress at pretending if this is the case. I should also add that she was always kind of pushy for us to get married and always made plans and talked about marriage. She was a little annoying but never pressured me in any way. The moment we got married, I didn't do it because I felt pressured or to make her happy, but because I really wanted to spend my life with her and build a future together. Update: my wife has my Facebook account password, and I have hers. I have my Facebook account linked to my phone, and whenever someone tries to access from an unauthorized computer, I get a notification on my phone. Apparently, she has been logging onto my Facebook account, keeping tracks on me. I'm not sure what to think of this, but I think it's odd. I'm not very active on Facebook and I'm not big on the whole social network things. I'm not sure if she's trying to spy on me or just curious to what I'm up to. Don't know if I should check up on her as well. Her dressing up, this has been going on for a few months more or less that I can recall. She used to be the type that doesn't style her hair or wears makeup for class, but I noticed she had started paying more attention to her looks, like putting on makeup and perfume for class. She changed her hair color last month, and I've seen her looking a lot in the mirror before she leaves for class. I teased her once about it. Something along the lines of, "Well, and who are you getting so dressed up for?" You, of course, don't be silly. I left it there since I thought nothing more about it. I think it's normal for women to want to look good and worry about looks, but it's something that got my attention. Small update: the message she sent me was sent through Facebook. She had deleted me off her friends list, but I could still go look at her profile, and it gave me the option of sending a friend request or a message. Right now, it won't let me look at her profile or reply, as if she had either blocked me or deleted her account. Since she sent me the message through Facebook, but either blocked me or deleted her account, I cannot respond to it, and the only way to contact her would be by 1. Calling, 2. Text message, or 3. Showing up at her mother's home. My wife is not a serial cheater as far as I know, and I think there is not still a valid reason, or solid evidence that indicates that she is. I do appreciate all the advice I can get, yet I take it all with a grain of salt, not sure if my use of idiom slang is correct. Right now, a lot of people have told me that there might be another man in the picture, but I still don't have any evidence, so I cannot base my actions on this. If she is cheating or planning to, I will find out eventually. I've been with my wife for 7 years, and my feelings have never changed or vanished, but these past days since the incident have made me think and review our whole relationship. I love her deeply, but the way I feel right now, if we were to work this out as a couple and get back together, I would be afraid she could walk out on me again. The next time we argue, she could overreact even worse. I don't know what to expect. Right now, if we were to continue the marriage, I would seek professional help and marriage counseling. Something that is 100% clear is that there are some serious communication problems, and any underlying issues there might be, must be addressed. And there it is. I got a phone call from her. Long story short, she needs time by herself. Her reason, she doesn't want to be depending on me so much and want to be on her own. I'm not feeling too well. I will head for the gym so I can calm down a little and clear my thoughts. I'll be posting all the details of how the conversation went down and reply to everyone as soon as I get back. Here's how the conversation went down. She called me. At first, she started talking about usual random stuff not related to the incident. Icebreaker. I was a little distant and cold, with short answers, and I kept myself from saying too much. I let her do most of the talking and I was listening. But finally she touched the subject. She said she would like some time apart, that her whole life she had been dependent on her mother, and then she passed to being dependent on me. She said she needs to be on her own to grow as a person and become more independent. I agree with her on this, she could be more independent. She said she had been thinking about this for a while now. She admitted that the way she handled things and left was wrong, and that she was sorry. That she did not mean to say I was the worst thing that happened to her, and that she overreacted. She also said this could help us grow as a couple, and we could have a better life in the future. I asked her if she wanted to get divorced. She said she didn't want one. Then I asked if she was interested in someone else, or if she would be dating anyone. She said that since she had been with me since she was so young, she has never been on her own, and she wants to experience what that is like. However, she did say she was not interested in anyone else, and that it would kill her to see my dating someone else. She said was going to remain faithful. Finally, I told her I loved her, and I would let her do her thing, that I would not be waiting for her to return whenever she felt like it. I said I would start moving on. I said that when she decided to come back to our marriage, I might have already moved on. I told her I wished her the best, and that she could find happiness or whatever she was looking for. I could feel a little bit of sadness in her tone when I told her this. During the whole conversation I kept a regular tone and showed no emotion, even though I was dying inside. Our 7-year relationship seems to be coming to an end. I have no evidence or anything pointing towards infidelity or any other man, but I know this could be a red flag. It's hard to pretend I'm okay, when inside I feel like everything we built together is starting to crumble. I can't assume there is any infidelity or anything shady going on, just yet. I will give her the benefit of the doubt. For all I know, she might really need this time to grow as a person and become independent. I see why she could feel this way, and I agree that she does need to be more self-sufficient. Let's hope for the best. Right now I'll stick to the 180 and go dark. I'll keep my eyes open for any red flags. I could also use this time apart and become less codependent and work on my social skills, as they have had a hit in the last few years. Tomorrow I will separate some time just for myself so I can be free, go to a shopping center and get some new clothes, maybe initiate conversations or small talk with strangers and see how it goes. Just work on myself overall. I feel it's been a while since I gave myself a treat. I might have spent a lot of time putting my wife's needs over mine. I have told my parents that we are in a rough patch, that we might end up separating. They have been supportive and invited me over on Sunday to spend some family time and talk about the whole situation. It's fairly easy. In fact, since we have no children, if I were to file for divorce, and we both agreed and did our respective paperwork with our lawyers, we could go to the notary and be legally divorced in 2 months. Her best friend is single. She has been single these 7 years I've known her, and as far as I know, she is a good girl. She is a childhood friend of my wife, and they were always the nerd type, not to get in trouble, and study a lot of type of girls. However, I did notice she likes to party a lot, and since me and my wife got married so young, she never got to do the whole party thing. I could not find any phone records online, at least haven't found the way to access these. I'm not so much worried by anything I could find regarding her phone, as she does not text much, and she is not secretive with her phone. She always left it around on the bed. I took her phone at times to make calls when my phone was out of range, and she never seemed nervous or bothered as if she had something to hide. I never saw her get any strange calls or act strange with her phone. If she wants to test drive other men, then there's not much I can do about it. One thing that confuses me is that I know the type of men she's physically attracted to. She has said it herself. I am more of a rocker kind of guy. I have long hair, I'm in good shape, exercise and gym 4 days a week, take care of my diet. I know she is very attracted to me physically, as she would sometimes greet me by going crazy on me. I'd say we both have a high drive, and it has been to a point that I would describe our physical life as great. She has said herself that she is not attracted to the typical loser party dude or those fraternity boys that takes around 90% of the men of the school she goes to. She will have some fun this weekend. I should try to have some fun myself. There is a concert planned for this Saturday. I was planning on taking her, but I will go by myself and it will be a blast. On Sunday I will be at my parent house, as they invited me over for lunch. All I need is some plans for Friday and I'm all set. Update. Today was a little rough. I'm usually in control of my emotions, but I can't help it. I feel angry at her. I'm starting to resent that fact that I've always been there for her. I always tried to give and satisfy all of her needs. I was offered a nice job, internship opportunity in the States at some point, and I turned it down because I couldn't leave the country and leave her stranded by herself. I could be being selfish, but I think I've done so much for her in our marriage, putting our relationship and her happiness as a priority, and so far, it only got her to leave me 7 years down the lane. She is the one that should be posting on these threads, on how to save her marriage, on how we could make things work as a couple. But instead, it's me who has to deal with the rejection, the pain and the regret of choosing her as my wife. Sorry for the rant. I'm starting to miss her and the way things used to be. I know I have a ton of flaws, and she does as well, but I was happy with the way things were. Edit. Oh, and what the hell could be going through her mind? Why would she want to sleep with other men? Why would she want to try other goods? I don't understand why she would leave. I know we're not the same, but I don't give a rat's ass about partying or sleeping with other women. A lot of women here are feisty and they don't care if you're married. I know I'm not the best looking guy, but I've had many opportunities and have been approached by women in this way. Yet I always chose my wife over these empty, meaningless one-night thing. It makes me angry to think I've put so much effort into our relationship, and she could be out partying with these knucklehead fraternity boys that have nothing going on for their lives. Small update. I feel dumb for not seeing this. I connect the dots and it makes perfect sense. During the last few months when I noticed she was dressing better and getting pretty for school, I also noticed she had stopped wearing her ring. I asked her about it, and she said she had lost it during a lab. I thought nothing of this because she has a lot of fieldwork and laboratory stuff, so she has to take her ring off for putting on gloves. She could have lost it since she has to take it off a lot. Now I look back and feel stupid. Thankfully I was very busy with work today, so I had my mind busy most of the time. It's these small moments in between that get me all worked up thinking about all of this that's going on. We did go out on dates at least once a week. We went out to dinner on Friday nights. On Sundays we went to the shopping center to get ice cream, to the cinema. I could tell she always had a great time. She was always reaching for holding my hand, giving me hugs and being very affectionate with me. We never went out clubbing or drinking. Maybe occasionally we went to a bar like once a month or two to have a few beers and listen to some music, but that's it. I have never been into the party hardcore thing where people get drunk. Neither of us went out drinking or partying with friends. Looking back, this is a big mistake. We pretty much didn't have any social life outside of our marriage. I can't remember the last time I ever went out with just guys to do guy stuff. It's been years. And she hasn't gone out with her friends as well. It's like we were both locked in the marriage. I never felt the need to go out and party or drink with my friends. Maybe she felt different. Edit. Usually there is no such thing as college in most countries here in South America. People graduate from high school and they go straight to university for 4 to 5 years. So, to answer your question, yes, I did finish my university studies around 3.5 years ago at the age of 21. A few months after I graduated, we moved in together as I could work full-time. Also, it's her birthday next Thursday on the 11th. How should I proceed? I don't feel like getting her a gift, but if I call her or send her a message, would it be wrong? The evil person in me just thought about getting her served with divorce papers on her birthday. It's been a rough, busy week, haven't had much time to update. I've already started talking to a lawyer and we have gone through the option of divorce. It's a fairly easy process, and if I push forward, we would be legally divorced in a few months. I'm still getting the strength I need to file for divorce. She has tried to contact me a couple of times and then she goes dark. Have kept me busy and avoided all contact with her. It's my wife's birthday today. I might send a short message wishing her a happy birthday, just being formal. Anyways, I will post all of the details once I get a little free time. Final update. My wife got served with divorce papers this past week. We have had very little contact since the incident began. I'm feeling great about myself as I have realized that I'm not dependent. I've kept myself busy, and even though I miss my wife, I find myself not thinking about her much. The words of some of the posters here have given me a lot of strength to move forward and not look back. As a coincidence, a really close friend of mine, who had moved away to a different country, just came back after 3 years of not seeing him. His return helped me reunite with old friends and a lot of the people I had lost touch with. These friends are the people that knew me and my wife many years back, and they always thought we were the happily ever after couple. They have been very supportive, and by simply socializing more I have regained a lot of confidence. Now regarding my wife, she has tried to contact me a few times through phone calls or text. I've been distant and polite. I know she was never a problem fixer, so I don't know if she wants to work on our relationship, but I can tell she feels sad when she calls me. I don't know if she's dating anyone. I never got any proof of an OM, but I know I have some red flags. I'm sure she has been out partying hard and enjoying her single life. I will not stalk or hire a private investigator, as it won't change how things are right now. The divorce is moving forward, and it's a simple, fast process. If things go right, we will be legally divorced sometime around February. Anyways, these are some of the important details I can recall in these last couple of weeks. My comment: it sounds like you are making progress. Keep the focus on you. Your wife needs to deal with her issues on her own. She needs to grow up. Maybe you both do. She was just looking for an excuse to leave, and you gave her the perfect opportunity. Keep it amicable. Let her go. And do not pay 1 ounce of attention to her unless she shows up on your door before February, full of slobbery "I'm sorry and I love you" before February.